Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about how to stop overeating without feeling deprived. This is probably the number one issue with weight loss, right? Is that you want to eat less, you know you got to eat less in order to lose weight, but you feel deprived. You feel stressed out when you try and do it. So the secret to losing weight and ultimately mastering it by keeping it off is to figure out how you can reduce your average calorie consumption, how to stop overeating calories in a way where you feel comfortable. And there are a couple ways to do this. Now, before I share them with you again, I want to remind you that as a dieter, you're thinking, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you here, and you're just going to start doing all these things. But the reality is that weight loss and ultimately weight mastery really is a process. And yes, you can try and force yourself to do all the things I'm about to share with you immediately, but the faster you do them all, the quicker you're going to stop doing them all. So again, what I will suggest to you is that what I'm going to share with you would be best implemented slowly and strategically over time. Okay. So there's a couple things we want to do. We want to understand that, again, instead of just thinking about cutting calories down and losing weight as fast as we can, we want to think about how we can do it comfortably for as long as we can. All right. Going back to what I was just mentioning. So how do you stop overeating without feeling deprived? Number one is you want to start transforming the calories you're eating. So if you're like most standard American people, you're eating a standard American diet with a lot of junk food stuff, a lot of fast food stuff, a lot of processed food stuff. And those foods are literally designed to make you hungry all the time. They're not satiating. They don't satisfy you. So you feel hungry all the time. And this is the first problem. A lot of people think the reason they're hungry is they haven't got enough calories. Well, clearly that can't be the case, right? Because people are becoming obese while feeling hungry all the time. America is the land of the undernourished, overfed. So we want to start not just cutting calories down. We want to start shifting those calories to become healthier calories, changing processed food calories to whole natural food calories. And when you do that, what happens is typically right off the bat, you're going to increase your fiber content. Again, your fiber content is much more important than pretty much any other macronutrient, including protein. And so if you start consuming more whole foods, you're going to increase your fiber content, and that is going to make you feel more satiated. All right, that's the first thing. Second thing is when you start eating more whole natural foods is you're going to have more micronutrients going into your body. There's a lot more micronutrient value in whole natural foods than there are in processed and junk foods. So again, you're satisfying your body on a deeper level, and you're causing your body to start to turn off its hunger signals. And the third one is that as you eat more whole natural foods, you're usually consuming more hydration, right? Because whole natural foods have a higher water content in them. So you're helping hydration as well. All three of these things help you to feel more satisfied while consuming less calories. Again, it's very important to understand that your hunger is not just about the calories you're consuming. It is about the fiber, the micronutrients, and the water content of the foods that you're consuming. So that's step number one, is eating more whole natural foods and replacing those, replacing processed foods, junk food stuff with whole natural foods. The next thing becomes more of a lifestyle focus, where you intentionally influence your lifestyle so that it supports you feeling more calm, centered, and less hungry. And so some of the most important lifestyle habits that are affecting your hunger levels, your sleep, right? It's been proven time and time again that if you don't get enough sleep, you wake up feeling hungry, and you're especially craving high calorie, unhealthy foods because your body knows that's the fastest source of getting quick glucose in your bloodstream. So getting the proper amount of sleep is one of the most important things you can do for weight loss for a number of reasons. But one of the big ones is literally when you get better quality sleep, your hunger levels start to go down. And of course, that's going to help you to make better food choices. The next thing is hydration, drinking water. So in addition to starting to eat more of your water, you can also literally start to focus on your water drinking habit. And that's another one that's going to help you feel more full. The next thing is to start to practice relaxation. When you implement some relaxation into your life, you're going to find that your hunger typically starts to subside a bit. Because again, stress levels and hunger are intimately related. So as you start to de-stress by adding certain stress relieving practices into your lifestyle, you're probably going to find your hunger going down. And so again, there's more strategies, but these are the ones I would start with. And again, you're not going to be able to do them all at once. That would be overwhelming. But if you start to systematically and strategically implement everything I'm talking about, I think you're going to find that it's not that hard to reduce the calorie consumption that you currently do in a way that feels comfortable. And if you want some support doing this for your mind, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself Thin and get the free hypnosis session that I made for you. It's called The New Thin Me, and it will help you get the right mindset to enact all these strategies. And I made a training for you, 3 steps to master your weight. You can check that out as well. Again, all free. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Any weight loss questions are welcome. And I hope everyone's having a nice Monday and a nice weekend. Antagonisticos says, can I get a Calimera? Thanks for sharing all your knowledge. Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, I don't speak Greek. I should have taken Greek when I was younger. That would have done better for me. What's your opinion about water fasting? I find it odd. My opinion is that I don't know. I get asked this question probably more than any other question, I would say, is I get asked about water fasting, probably more than any other weight loss strategy. Maybe I get asked that because deep down people know it's a goofy strategy. I don't know. But I think water fasting in order to lose weight is the silliest, the dumbest strategy that I can think of. There's none dumber. So unless you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what situation you would need to lose a lot of weight, like in a short period of time. I know you all want to, but I'm just saying, what is the point of water fasting? And so I can start losing some weight. Well, how long are you going to water fast for? What's the longest? 30 days? So what happens on day 31? Oh, then I'll just manage it then. Well, you just manage what? You're just not going to eat? So again, I think water fasting is the absolute height of dieting stupidity, followed only by carnivore, keto, these things. So yeah, don't have much. Now, if you're water fasting for other reasons, spiritual reasons, or something else, obviously that's not what I'm talking about. That's not my specialty. But water fasting for weight loss is literally the top of the mountain of stupidness for weight loss. And it really does. I mean, it can't get much clearer how short-sighted a dieter can become than considering a water fast, because obviously what's shorter term than that? It's the shortest strategy you can do. Short of dry fasting, I suppose. I guess it gets a little dumber. There's always something. So yeah, I would say it doesn't make much sense. But yeah. What is Medini? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Can I use hypnosis to stop binge eating? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, hypnosis is a tool. And so I think it works in what's the word? In concert. Hypnosis is a supplement. My impression. I've been a professional hypnotist for 20 years. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet. So take it or leave it. But I think that hypnosis in and of itself, can I make people lose weight? Absolutely. They don't have to do anything. I can talk to them. I can hypnotize them. No doubt. To lose weight long-term, to like master your weight, I don't think hypnosis would work. Okay. That being said, I think that hypnosis to stop binge eating, I think it could work for a little while. But if you really understand binge eating at a deeper level, I think you'd understand why it wouldn't work long-term. Okay. And I think the reason is, for most people, the reason they're binge eating, it's always different. Everyone's got their unique reasons why they're binge eating. It might be emotionally based, right? They might be feeling really sad and lonely and they binge eat. They might get really stressed and they binge eat. They might, celebrate a lot, feel happy, they're thriving, and they want to binge eat. So there's a lot of reasons what can trigger binge eating. And so in my mind, I want to understand what those reasons are. I want to really understand what binge eating, what's triggering it in the first place, because once I understand what's triggering it, then I can start to come up with a strategic solution to prevent it. So the big 3 reasons I see people binge eating typically, and it can be all of them, It can be hunger is probably number one. People they over deprive themselves and they over restrict, get too hungry, can't control their eating. Emotional, as I just mentioned, and habit, just a habit. And so it's usually some combination of those three. And so the idea that like I could make a hypnosis session, and I do, for stopping binge eating, but it's a kind of a one size fits all thing that's going to be, for some people it'll work really well, and for most people it'll work average at best. So again, I just think hypnosis, if you have your own strategy though, like again, program yourself thin, let's just say you're in that. What you would do is you would diagnose and understand what triggered the binge eating habit. And you probably have a couple of different triggers, right? So you have different binge eating patterns, and there's a couple different triggers that trigger them. And so if you're in program yourself, then you would understand what those triggers were, and we would work on creating what a solution would be in those situations instead. And then you would use hypnosis, self-hypnosis, to program in that new solution so you did it on autopilot. Then you would test that solution out. Is it working? Does it feel good? All the rest of it. If it is, cool, we install it fully. And if not, we tweak a little more and then install it fully. So again, I think I would never believe anyone, not even myself. I wouldn't believe if I was like, oh yeah, hypnosis, I could stop binge eating with hypnosis. If that was the case, no one would binge eat. We wouldn't be in a country of 75% of the population is overweight or obese. So it's a helpful tool, even in its most basic form. But when it's used strategically, I think it's extremely helpful. But it's a version of self-hypnosis more than it is hypnosis, if that makes sense. What's up, Carrie? How's it going? Jen says, do you eat meat? What's your favorite salad? I don't eat land animals. I do eat some fish here and there, but I'm pretty much a vegetarian with a little bit of fish and clams here and there. I don't eat any land animals, haven't for 25 years. What's my favorite? What's in my favorite salad? My favorite salads are usually, it's a green mix with small leaf greens. Then I put as many vegetables and fruits in there as I can. So a typical salad will have carrots, celery, tomatoes, cucumber, radishes, onion. Source of protein might be egg whites or chickpeas, maybe some blue cheese that I'll put on top of there, walnuts. Yeah. And then there's other things that kind of come and go with it, but that's kind of the core, I would say, of the salads. And so, yeah. So it's my favorite salad. Yeah. And then I don't know, sometimes my wife, one time a couple of years ago, she made like 5 different salads. They were kind of intense though. They were all great too. So I love most salads. I love salad. So love them most, but that's kind of my typical salad that I eat pretty much every day. What's up, Vicky? Yep. Welcome to Monday. So everyone's having a nice week. Do you have clams with pasta? I do have clams with pasta. I did not this weekend, but yeah, pretty much most weekends I'll be having clams and pasta. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, super good. Always look forward to that. So that is, again, part of the old pleasure day strategy. And program yourself thin. We have clean and pleasure days, and pleasure days are really important. I will be doing a deep training on that for my Thrive program members coming up, just because I had a real realization last week of I'm always working on explaining things better. And program yourself thin is that way. But the pleasure days and program yourself thin, that's been kind of coming up a bit. So I got an in-depth training coming with that. Because it's me too, or shrimp with pasta. Yeah, I had shrimp with pasta the other night. So yeah, it was super good. But I'm a big fan of pasta, so that's kind of what I like to eat. Because I minimize, I suppose, flour and sugar. I minimize a lot of my clean days. So don't eat a lot of flour, which was a challenge because I could eat bread. I could eat bread all day long. I love bread. I'm kind of a bread monster. That's kind of my thing, more than the sweets. Dee said, if you wanted to start the program over trying to get results, what would your advice be? The mastery program. If you wanted to start the program over trying to get results, what would your advice be? I would focus in on the blueprints. I would focus in on the redo rehearsal technique. And I would go through the blueprints. If you go through the blueprints, if you practice the redo rehearsal consistently and you go through the blueprints again. Now, again, it's important to understand. So in Program Yourself, then we have the weight mastery blueprints. We follow the weight mastery pyramid, mindset, lifestyle, eating. And there's blueprints for each one of those sections to help you kind of create your own customized blueprints for success. And so it's important to understand that the first challenge is just filling out the blueprints. Great. But the second challenge is to see how those blueprints work. Just because you fill out blueprints doesn't mean they'll work. You dieters, any of you program, a lot of people get on the program and it's like you think you know the answers to this stuff and you have no clue. So, the first step is just to fill it out. The next step is to live with that blueprint and see how it's working for you. And it's either working or it's not. Now the work begins. Now the fun starts because now you can optimize it. So I think if you go through the blueprints and you fill them all out, it's kind of hard not to succeed because it helps you diagnose what the problem is. So, you can get on here and say, well, Jim, I'm eating perfectly. I'm following my eating blueprint perfect and I'm not losing weight. So I'd say, okay, great. So the mindset sounds great. I would ask about how the lifestyle's going, but then I would say, okay, great. We need to tweak the eating blueprint. It's not getting the results you want. Then we would tweak the eating blueprint. And then you say, okay, I tweaked the eating blueprint. Now I'm having a hard time sticking with it. Great. Okay. Let's focus on the eating blueprint. Now let's focus on the mindset piece as well. How's your motivation? How's your self-image? How are your habits? The new eating blueprint that you're looking to tweak, have you been able to install those habits? Do you know what I mean? And so how the emotions feeling. So again, you have to understand the blueprints we fill them out at first and you kind of go through and you get like a much deeper sense of what's leading to your weight. But it's right or wrong. I'm constantly tweaking my blueprints. For 30 years I have been, and I expect to do it for another 100. So I don't want it to feel like, oh, I filled the blueprints out and it didn't work. Then you fill the blueprints out and okay, now you're in the game. Congrats. But again, the blueprints allow you to diagnose things at a much more granular level. So if you told me, D, what was going on, like whatever, again, and I'm proud of you because you took some action. And so now that you've taken action, we can diagnose what's going on way better than before you started the program. And you have a path forward. That's what the blueprints are for. Again, it's to give you much more granular detail of what leads to your weight. Y'all dieters have no idea what leads to your weight. You have this vague notion that I need to eat better to lose weight. And it's so vague, it's practically meaningless. You have some vague, generalized sense of what you need to do to lose weight. It's, I need to eat less. I need to restrict my calories. I need to count my calories. I need to not eat carbs. I need to not eat for 16 hours. You have these big, giant, vague ideas of what you need to do. And you have no granular detail on how to get yourself to do that. And so Program Yourself then really gives you all the details of how to master your weight. And if you're not, you say, oh, I did it. That's why I can guarantee the program. Because if you actually fill the blueprints out and then you tell me what's going on, I in a second, I can pinpoint where the problem is. And that's what you want though, folks. I mean, that's what you want. That's what a teacher does. That's what this does. I'm not sitting here and pretending that Program Yourself then is some magical thing where you go through it one time and, oh my God, I'm at my goal weight forever. That happens, but it's rare. More often than not, you got to figure it out. It's, I don't know. Forget that, Jim. I want a quick fix. Well, there are no quick fixes. Mastering your weight. You know how much is involved with your weight? Again, it's like, you think of college and you think of getting a college degree in any area. You think of learning a trade. You're not going to do it in a week, a month, 2 months. You have to commit some time and energy to it, but it's worth it because it's the most important thing in your life. The thing that'll improve your life more than anything on the planet is getting control of your weight, your health, and your happiness. There's literally pretty much no greater thing you could dedicate yourself to. It's like the most important thing in life, and yet you've been conditioned to think about it like so casually. Because dieting is the most casual, just fucking swing at something that it's just like a shot in the dark. It is just a total, the way people approach weight loss is just so casual. You know, you think it's not. I know you think you're so committed and so focused, and I can't tell you how you're not. That's part of the problem is you think you are. Dieters, the hardest part of dealing with dieters is getting through that fucking thick layer of ignorance and delusion that you think you're doing everything, you know everything, and just got to get yourself to do it. And you think you know what you got to do and you don't. Anyways, sounds so negative. Sandra says, do you read any book recommendations, any topic? Yeah, I read like crazy. So, I mean, I read, and I really rate my readings right back. I told you the end of last year kind of fell away a little bit. I got shoulder surgery, just some bullshit going on. And that happens though. You know, I've had my reading habit really for 30 years, but it gets more and more intense as I go along. I get better and better at it. You know, you get better at things, folks. Do you know that? No one thinks, you never think of your weight as being something you get better at, right? Because you think your weight is just controlled by your conscious mind, your willpower. It makes me insane. I will tell you, life isn't easy for me because I know things that no one else knows, and I see everyone suffering because they don't know them. And I'm shocked every day that life isn't easier for me in the sense that I can get out here and just share, like if you care about your weight, I can share the most profound insights about it. But it doesn't land that way because you're so entranced by the diet industry. So, you know, metaphorically, it's like talking to a brick wall every day to some degree. Try to get everyone to stop listening. I'm not, but it's just, I will tell you personally, that's one of my struggles in life is that a lot of my time is like, is literally just spent talking to brick walls. Now it's worth it because I get through to the brick walls occasionally and I work with those people and I love that, you know, but a lot of my time is literally talking with people that say the most important thing in their life is their weight. They want to get their weight. They want to lose weight more than anything in the world. And it's like, well, that's not true. And, you know, but anyways, back to the books. Yeah. I read tons of books. I don't know, book recommendations. Oh boy. I mean, it just depends on what you're even interested in. So I mean, I couldn't even start. I mean, I literally have so many books. I usually read about 50 books a year. I mean, I couldn't just name books. I mean, I obviously have recency bias. So the books I've read lately are kind of mostly in my head, but it depends on what you're interested in. You know, I could definitely give you way better book recommendations if you told me like what you're interested in or what you're struggling with or what you want to do. J8 says, I just binged. I feel like a pathetic failure. Well, okay, that's the biggest problem of a dieter is that when you binge, you feel like a pathetic failure instead of feeling like shit. That's the whole difference. I will tell you, if there's one thing that would make you thin in spite of yourself, it's this, that when you guys binge or you make the wrong food choice, but especially when you binge, you feel like failures. When I binge, I feel like shit. Do you see the difference there? You probably don't, but this is literally, your weight would change right now in an instant if you got this forever. You wouldn't have to do anything else. I truly mean this. When dieters binge, they feel like pathetic failures. When I binge, I feel like shit. I don't get that. I know my people get it. That's the keys to the kingdom. I don't know. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. When you all binge, you feel like failures. When I binge, I feel like shit. Okay, let me explain it a little bit. When you binge, you take it as a personal failure. Like you did the wrong thing. You should have stopped yourself from binging and you didn't. And so you're a failure. When I binge, I feel like shit. I feel stuffed. I feel full. I feel tired. I feel frustrated. I feel fat. I feel gross. I feel tired. I feel bad physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually sometimes. Like I feel like shit. Things that make you feel like shit, folks, you tend to not do very much. So the big difference here is that every time you binge, you feel like shit too, by the way, but you don't realize it because you're so disassociated. Every time you binge, you disassociate. And one of the most powerful ways you disassociate from your body is you start to feel like a failure and you go into your whole story. And while you're in your whole story about what a pathetic fat loser you are, you're not connected to how shitty you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. And if you start, you'll start changing behavior real quick. Let me give you an example. Let's just bring it to an extreme. when I say I feel like shit. Let's just imagine that every time you binged, I whacked your thumb with a hammer. Like every time you binged, I magically just popped out of the closet and whacked your thumb with a hammer. Every time. Every time. There's no getting around it. I see all. Every time you binge, whack. So now my question to you is, how many times would I have to whack your thumb with a hammer after you binged before the next time a binge impulse came, you said, oh, fuck that. No way. How many times? And that's the difference between me and you. You all are getting in your head, doing nothing good for yourself. The feeling like a pathetic failure does absolutely nothing to change your eating as you move forward. If anything, it just encourages you and speeds up your next binge. I feel like shit, and I connect to that. Metaphorically, it's like getting my thumb hit with a hammer. How many times would I have to hit your thumb with a hammer before you use, God, I really want to eat that pizza. I don't know, though. My thumbs, shit. No, I don't want to do that. I hope it makes sense to you. D says, I know my issue is weekend eating, which is when I'd like to do pleasure days. Blueprints needed for pleasure days. Yeah, there you go, D. So again, I mean, you got to structure out your pleasure days. So you've asked this before, so start the program again, or just go and do your pleasure days and structure them out. Do that, okay? So yeah, you need blueprints for your pleasure days. Yes, great. But that's what we're doing. See, you need to have structure first so you can see where the problems are. Because things probably aren't as bad as you think they are. And now that you realize, oh, it's really just that day or two, because we all have a negativity bias. So the 2 days of pleasure overeating, completely wipe out the 5 days of good eating we were doing and have consistently been doing. So yeah, structure out your pleasure days. And I'm going to do a lesson on that. I'll get that for you too as well. And then get on to Tuesday calls, Ken says, when I started PYT, I thought the key would be the eating blueprint. It took some time to realize the power of mindset and lifestyle changes. Yes, absolutely, Ken. I agree. That is why, though, I let people start with the eating blueprint, because that's just, I'll meet you halfway. I know when you think about weight loss, you can't not think about food. I get it. It's fine. But yeah, so now we do the eating blueprint, and then we go to the mindset and then the lifestyle. So, Valen's story says, I really want to lose weight, but it's not translating into anything. It's almost like I don't want it, and it depresses me that I don't want, or that I ain't doing anything to do something about it. Yeah, but congratulations. At least you're more connected to reality now. Listen, you're not alone. Listen, folks, if you're overweight and have been for a while, and you keep thinking you want to lose weight more than anything, you don't. I've never, and I'm not saying it's impossible because there's a big world out there, but I've never met a person who really, really, really wants to lose weight who doesn't. That's what I've seen. And so what I'm saying to you is that, I'll put it in a more straightforward way. You weigh what you want to weigh, which is another way to say that you don't really want to lose weight. Well, you want to lose weight, but you want to keep eating the same and living the same more. So you want to lose weight, but you want to keep eating the same way more than you want to lose weight. Why can't we just be clear about it and be honest? Because I will tell you, the dieters, and it's most of them that I end up working with, they say, well, Jim, I want to lose weight more than anything, and no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. And I have never found that to be true of the clients I work with. Not even one time. Not even one time. Now, I'm not saying they don't believe it, but it's just not true. So again, if you're struggling with your weight, I will tell you the first hurdle, the first challenge you got to overcome is your motivation. You weigh what you want to weigh. Again, if you think about your weight as a motivation score, I think it's pretty accurate. So, again, what Val Stories here is talking about is I really want to lose weight, but it's not translating anything. It's almost like I don't want it. Yeah, you don't want it. So you weigh what you want, but again, dieters make themselves crazy because they keep telling themselves they want to lose weight up here, when in reality, it's right here. And you can see how this cause all kinds of problems. If you keep telling yourself you're motivated up here, but you're really motivated here. So the solution to this, by the way, though, is to fix your motivation. Crank your motivation up. When your motivation is really right, you can do magical things. Now, I will let you know that you've never learned how to motivate yourself. As a matter of fact, if you're a typical dieter, your main motivation is you want to look better. You want to wear a bathing suit to the beach this summer. You want to wear your skinny jeans. Well, I'm here to tell you, as much as you think that should motivate you, it's not. It's the weakest form of motivation. Jesus Christ. You get to 65 and you've been overweight for the last 30 years. You don't give a fuck about wearing a bathing suit to the beach. I promise you. It'd be cool. You don't give a fuck about your skinny jeans. Not really. Not compared to the fucking donut. What do you want? You're bullshitting yourselves. You're not as motivated as you think, which again is not a problem because you can get more motivated. You've never learned how to motivate yourself. Dieters, listen, dieters, you've been led down the wrong path in life. You've been conditioned by the food companies to think like an overweight person. And being a dieter is part of being an overweight person. Dieters aren't thin and healthy. All the diets you're learning from are all owned by the food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products is owned by the same company that owns Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's Pretzels. Slim Fast owned by the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream. Do you think these companies and their diet wings are going to teach you how to not eat their bullshit food anymore and how to eat healthy, whole foods? What sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. I will answer the question myself. So you wonder why you can't lose weight, but you're missing the point that you've been trained and conditioned by the food industry to think like an overweight person. And part of that overweight mindset is the diet piece. And it's not a solution, which is another way. Let me put it real clear. You don't know how to live at your goal weight. You don't know how. Again, you got a vague idea. Nothing wrong. What's up, Julie? Julie said you feel bad physically. Yeah, of course. Julie knows she's in the program, so she understood what I was talking about. All or Something helped me so much this weekend. Yeah, All or Something helps me like most days. I'm in something mode way more than in all mode. I can tell you that. I chose naked instead of fried, skipped garlic bread, and ate a couple bites of cake. Best lobster dinner ever. Wow. Oh, baked, not naked. Okay. I was thinking naked. I was thinking that made like not butter or, stuff on it or something. I got you. Nice job, Julie. That's what it's all about. Consistently making better choices. And again, as part of your diet prison that you live in, you can only think about things as all or nothing. Again, just as a dieter, you're just, oh my God. The dieting is a Trojan horse. It's a mental Trojan horse for you to be overweight. It's a mental prison. Thinking like a dieter it's a mental prison that's keeping you trapped in an overweight body. I can't put it any more clear dramatically. J87 says, I do well at first and then end up binging. Yeah, that's every dieter here. All you dieters do the same thing. You can fight against yourself for a little while and you always end up going back to your normal behaviors. I just made a video on this actually. So I got my YouTube channel, Jim Katsoulis. You can search it. It's a cool bunch of hypnosis sessions there. I'm going to put more. I'm going to start doing more long-term content or long-form content. So go check it out. But I literally just did a video called 3 Reasons Your Diet Doesn't Work. So it might be worth you watching that, J87, because yeah, I do well at first and then end up binging. Yeah, you and every other fucking overweight person in America. Like, you're not alone. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a personal failing of yours. It's not because you don't have willpower. It is because you have a shit strategy. Dieting is the shittiest strategy ever. So, and go get go to my bio, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made as well. If you're really serious, and again, don't take this the wrong way, folks, but I do this every day. I do this literally Monday through Friday every day. I'm going on 2.5. I'm not that far away from 3 years. As a matter of fact, this is like a podcast. I'm almost up to episode 500. So what's my point? My point is that every day I say, hey, go get the free hypnosis session, watch the video I made, read the emails I sent. I feel more free shit than anyone. Only a small fraction of people ever do it. So, I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying you're not motivated and you think you're motivated. That's the biggest dieter delusion of all, is that you think you're motivated when you're not. And Jade says, is it because when you binge, you'll be right on track afterwards? Yeah, I think that's a little bit of it, but I mean, the biggest reason you binge is because you create the binge. I know you don't think of it that way because you think just. I'll give you the classic example. The classic dieter move is this one. I've heard this just literally thousands of times in my career. Is they'll say, Jim, listen, breakfast and lunch, they're going great. I got that locked down. It's the afternoon and night I'm really struggling with. I keep binging in the afternoon and night. I was like, okay, what are you eating for breakfast and lunch? Oh, nothing. Don't eat anything. So, okay, so what do you want to eat the rest of the day? I don't want anything there either. I want to lose weight. So this is a classic dieter strategy, and it's fucking goofy because what's happening is by not eating breakfast, by not eating lunch, you're creating the conditions where you're going to binge in the afternoon and into the evening. Right? Now, dieters are so short-sighted that they don't realize this. But as you zoom out just one notch, and it's obvious as day that you skip breakfast, you skip lunch, and now the afternoon comes and you're really, really hungry, bored, tired, and you have no willpower. And you might repeat that same process over for years, decades, your whole life and not even realize it. So, why are you binging? And again, I'm not saying you're doing that, but I guarantee you it's a pattern that's as obvious as that. You just don't see it. So, yeah, all you dieters don't realize it, but you're creating your shitty behaviors without realizing it. You've been programmed. Again, the funniest thing in the world for me to hear is a dieter say, well, I don't know if I can be hypnotized. Motherfucker, we're all hypnotized. We're all hypnotized. We all have hypnotic brains in our head. Most of our lives are run on autopilot. Your eating's run on autopilot. Your eating is so run on autopilot that you've done everything you can to change your weight and you can't do it. That's how much on autopilot you are. And there's no getting away from that. You're never, ever, never going to live your life not on autopilot. You have an autopilot created brain. That's how it's designed. The part of your brain that you think is where your willpower is, where you're in control, is called your prefrontal cortex. It's 10% of your brain. It's not controlling your behaviors in your brain. I hate to tell you. So, yeah. So anyways, you better learn how to influence your subconscious mind. You better learn how to influence the other 90% of your brain. And you have no idea how to do this. You don't think this way. You don't approach it this way. And that's why you're not getting any good results. But it's not because you don't have willpower. It's not because there's something wrong with you. The only thing wrong with you is that you don't know. You don't have the right knowledge in your head. You think like a dieter, not a thin and healthy person. And I show you how to think like a thin, healthy person, but you would have to click a link and put your name and email in and watch something. So you probably won't do it. Because it's not easy enough. I don't know. I don't know how you can think these diets are easy. Counting calories, not eating carbs, not eating for 16 hours. It's like, that's the hard work, but I don't know. Balance First says, what's step one if you... so what's step one if you can, or is it different for everyone? I mean, what's step one? I mean, step one would be get the hypnosis session, watch the video I make for you, because the first step, it's kind of like if you want to become like a plumber or an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, right? So what's step one, Jim? What's step one? And what you want me to do is you want me to tell you what you have to do to be a lawyer, a doctor, a plumber, an accountant. But guess what you would have to do to become any of those things? Because you as a dieter think I'm going to tell you something that's going to let you be a dieter or lose weight tomorrow. But what I'm going to tell you is the real answer. And it's the same answer of anything in your life that you are serious about becoming. You have to make a commitment to it outside of yourself. If you want to be a plumber or a lawyer or a doctor, you're not going to go to the library and get a book. You're not just going to start acting like a doctor or a lawyer tomorrow. You're going to make a long-term commitment to really making it happen if you were serious. Now, most of you are not serious about actually losing weight. And it's not your fault. I know, like, you are serious, but you have been conditioned to think like a dieter, and dieters are not serious people when it comes to their weight loss. No, they are not. Dieting is a get-rich-quick scheme. And just like if you know anyone who does get-rich-quick schemes, it's hard to take them serious. And in the same way, it's very difficult to take a dieter seriously because it's dumb. It's silly and goofy. It's just someone who's just excited in the moment and wants to lose some weight. And you could set a timer when that motivation is going to disappear, that excitement's going to disappear. And so again, I go back to the idea that most people that want to lose weight aren't really serious about it. No, they're not. And so they keep flitting from, quick fix to fad diet to, quick solution to quick solution. And very few people are willing to actually put the work and effort in to actually master their weight. Even though in reality, and I say this every time, and I believe this to my heart, that I believe it's a lot easier to master your weight than it is to try and lose weight on a diet. These diets are intense. They're overwhelming. They're stressful. So my question, my answer, Val, the real honest answer I would say to you is to go and get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you. Now, I know you want me to tell you something like, oh no, it's about tracking calories. It's about working out. It's about, drinking more water. I know you want to hear a hack, and I don't blame you because that's what you've been conditioned to do, but there's no fucking hacks, folks. There's no hack. There's no hack to becoming a lawyer. There's no hack to becoming an accountant. There's no hack to becoming a plumber. There's no hack to becoming a parent. You know what I mean? Like, there's no hacks. There's no hack to mastering your weight. You just have to put the work in and learn how to control your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating strategically in a way that works for you. But again, you're all so conditioned to you want the secret. You want the secret? Make a real commitment. There's a secret. He says, I definitely overeat sometimes, especially on pasta and ice cream on pleasure days. Yeah, so do I. But I don't care because I've got it. First of all, I got it engineered, so it doesn't even matter. But even if you did overeat on the pleasure day, if you follow the program yourself thin pleasure clean day model, a lot of people end up at 5 days of clean eating, 2 days of pleasure eating. And so let's just say, oh my God, 2 days a week, I kind of overdo it a little on the pasta. Yeah. Okay. That's in comparison to 7 days of overdoing it for most people. So right off the bat, statistically, you've cut it down by like 80%. And now you've also compressed it and you've narrowed down, you can optimize it. But so there's nothing wrong with overdoing it a little bit on pleasure days. You've already compressed it down and cut 80, 90% of your eating is great at that point. And I know, again, even people in the program, it is hard to like let go of that perfection mindset, but perfection mindset's bullshit. So I'm not sure what is blueprint that you all talk about. The blueprints are in Program Yourself Thin. Program Yourself Thin's really got 3 parts to it. There's the hypnosis piece of it. It's the #1 hypnosis program in the world. It's an 8-week program where every morning you get a 5-minute hypnosis session, which is different. So I'm putting different weight loss mantras in your mind. Each week you get a core weight loss mantra and you listen to that one repeatedly all week. That one's 10 minutes. You listen to that at night. Then there's a hypnosis library. So that's the hypnosis piece. Then there's the Program Yourself Thin technique. This is a 1-2 minute self-hypnosis technique you use on yourself, the redo rehearsal technique. This gives you control so you can program your own mind. You've got to learn how to program your own mind, folks. You are your own best or worst hypnotist. You're in your head 24 hours a day. That's the #1 thing impacting your weight. And then there's the weight mastery blueprints is the final piece. And again, we follow the weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. And there's blueprints that are there that you fill out because you need to customize them to yourself. You're a unique, one of a kind being, folks. You can't just have me, who you've never met, tell you how you're going to live and eat for the rest of your life. That's never going to work. What a silly idea. And that's how, like, again, dieters, you just like little babies walking around with your umbilical cords looking to plug them in. Cut the shit. Do the work, okay? No one, you can't say what one person, keto for everybody. No one should eat carbs. You know what I mean? Like, dieters are so fucking gullible. You can't, oh my God. It's like, I'll tell you, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not even just talking to brick walls all day that's hard. It's that when you really, really do dedicate yourself to this, the answers are so obvious and you see the dieting bullshit and it's plain as day and it hurts. It hurts to live in a world of such ignorance because I love all you people that want to lose weight. That's why I'm here. If you don't know, this is a mission for me. My father died of a heart attack when he was 54. I was 9 years old and he was obese and had all sorts of health issues. I started on the same path. I was 50 pounds heavier. I lost the weight. But for me, this isn't about just wearing skinny jeans, although I want you to do that too. This is about you living as long as you can because your eating and your weight are probably the #1 factor of how long you're going to live and your quality of life. I want you to have the best quality of life possible. I mean, it's so crazy. Geez, I'm reading this book, Living Untethered, And it's just so profound. I love Michael Singer. He's one of my favorite. If you don't know, The Untethered Soul and what's the Life of Surrender? I forget, The Surrendered Life, I think. But I'm such a big fan of his work, and this book's no different. But it's like, it's really, we're so locked in sometimes the American paradigm of, there's not a lot of room for growth and personal development in that paradigm. It's a lot about consuming. Well, let's just be honest. And so it's just bringing me back. You get this beautiful life to live. You know what I mean? Like, we're all just the luckiest beings in the universe. For real, when you really think about it, when you consider reality and, you take into account, billions of years of planets and stars and, formation and Earth. And now here we are at this moment in time. I mean, it's just magical and amazing. And you get this one shot, as far as we know, at this beautiful life. And a lot of people are going to spend their entirety of it feeling bad about their weight and themselves because they can't change it. And that is literally the thing that gnaws at me. It's gut wrenching to me. And so this is why I do this every day. And, but I don't even know. What was I talking about? J8 says, I lost 20 kilograms over the past 2 years, but I need to lose 15 more. I'm stuck at the same weight 6 months now. Well, great job, J8. And again, I get more and more of your story here, and it's just, again, it's more and more heartbreaking because, J8 started this whole thing by saying, I binged and I felt like a pathetic failure. Here's J8 successfully living 20 kilograms, which is almost 40 pounds lighter than they were. And because they made a mistake, they're a pathetic failure now. That's exactly what it is. That's the gut wrenching piece for me. It's the thing that motivates me to be here every day. So instead of just like celebrating and like honoring the journey you've been on so far and what you've accomplished, and recognize, of course, there's gonna be days when we fuck up, of course. But instead of just absorbing that and really celebrating where you're at and get right back on track to get them next 15 down, you get these off ramps into Depressionville and Failureville and feeling horribleville. This is all for all of you. It's just, that's what dieting's done to you, because again, the diet industry is not there to help you. The diet industry is just an arm of the food industry. And they use the diets to condition your brain to think all sorts of shitty stuff. I mean, diets are built around self-loathing. You notice that? It's sad. Vicky says, but I don't find myself binging most of the time. Yeah, exactly. J8 says, yeah, you're right. I did lose motivation after 2 years. Yeah, of course. Again, because J8, listen, the motivation that gets you, 20 kilograms down is not the motivation that's probably get you another 15 down. This is why I say, with Program Yourself Thin, the very first thing you learn is motivation, how to motivate yourself. You all don't know how to motivate yourself, and you think you do. That's one of the biggest things you got to get through. You don't know how to motivate yourself. No, you don't. If you're really motivated, you get better results. I promise you. And so you know, motivation is something you have. You don't just get motivated once. You know what I mean? You have to know how to manage that motivation, how to turn it up when you need to, how to readjust when it's appropriate. So yeah. But again, Jay, and I don't want you to feel sad about that. I want you to feel excited that at least you realize what the problem is. The worst thing we can tell ourselves is, I'm doing everything right. Oh, I want to lose weight more than anything, and it's just not happening. That's never true. And when you say it to yourself, it's a very powerless thing to say. It takes all your power away. It is what it is. Says, I lost 20 kilograms. And when I saw myself in the mirror, I just saw my old fat self. Yes. Again, very common. And that's what most people, listen, folks, 95% of dieters that lose weight put it back on. That should be very sobering for you. Because first of all, you've probably done that. You've probably gotten to your goal weight at least a couple times in your life and you put the weight back on. And it is what it is. Just literally that's the whole game. How is that possible? How did 95% of people lose the weight? Because it's the most amazing thing in the world, right? It's the most important thing in the world for you. And yet 95% of people that lose the weight put it back on. And you just hit the nail on the head, which is, I just saw my old fat self. This is literally why right after motivation, which is the most important thing you need to learn first, the next thing we go through in the program is your new self-image. You see what I mean? Like, again, there's no program like Program Yourself Thin. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And there's literally no program like this. I've never seen anyone like me. Again, I'm not sitting here with delusions of grandeur here, but I don't know anyone who's out there. I think there's people that know more about weight loss than I do, by the way. But I don't think there's a person on the planet that knows more about weight mastery, which is the ability to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot. And I don't think anyone has studied weight success as much as I have. And that's why, again, it is what it is. Could say, I just saw my old fat self, and no one's going to be like, yeah, we need to deal with your self-image. That's what we do in this part of the blueprint. You're not going to find another program on the planet that does that. So yeah, again, Maxwell Maltz, right? If you don't know Psycho-Cybernetics, a great book, I'd strongly recommend it. But he was a plastic surgeon back in like the 50s. So this was mostly, he was dealing with deformities. This was before plastic surgery today. And what he found out is that he would fix deformities with people, and some of them, would have this new personality, this new self-image, this new reality, and other people would act still as if they still had deformity, even though they didn't. And it led him to the awareness of the self-image. We all have this inner idea of who we are. You call it an identity, you call it a self-image, but we always live up or down to that self-image. And almost all of you, if you're dieting and you're just going to lose weight and you're not doing any inner work, it's almost guaranteed you can put the weight back on, because you think of yourself as an overweight person. And so never did you learn how to think of yourself as a thin, healthy person. And so, again, it's crucial. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not rocket science, and it's really not that hard. It's just, you just got to do the work. You just got to do the steps. And coming up with a new self-image, I think, is crucial. One of those crucial steps that no dieting is going to talk about for you. No diet is going to show you how to do that. Vicky says, my motivation fluctuates. I take a walk and listen to your podcast. Wow, that's a great strategy, Vicky. Again, Vicky's in the program, though. Of course you would have a strategy. Jade says, how do I get motivated? How do you get motivated? Well, I mean, it's different for each person, but I mean, a lot of it comes down to pain and pleasure. And Program Yourself Thin, again, we go through the motivation matrix. That's what I take you through in the blueprint, which is pain and pleasure is level 1, and level 2 is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And again, there's a science of motivation, folks. Do you know that? There's literally a science of motivation. I don't know how you say his name, but why we do what we do. It's DECI is his last name. So he's literally, he goes through the science of motivation. Now, again, you can read that book and you won't get out of it what I get out of it, because I've been doing this for 30 years personally, 20 years professionally. I know 6,000 private weight loss sessions. So, how do you get motivated, though? And I wish I could just give you an answer. Listen, if I knew the answer, I could just tell it to you, I would. But it's not that easy, because it's different. Different people are motivated by different things. So again, I can give you the broad outlines of pain, pleasure, extrinsic versus intrinsic. But until unless you go through the process or I work with you directly, I don't know what would motivate you. I mean, again, I don't know. You get Program Yourself Thin, do what I've done. Spend 30 years just obsessively dedicated to this. Renee says, we believe deep down that we can't do it. I do, at least. Yeah, exactly. I know that, because you think of yourself as an overweight person. Folks, we always live up or down to our self-image. If you think of yourself as an overweight person, you're not going to be thin for long, because it's hard to be something we don't believe we are. And none of you believe you're thin and healthy people, most likely. You've been struggling with your weight for your whole life, or for the last 10 years. I can't tell you how impactful your self-image is. He says, well, how do I change it? Like, again, I know how to do it, but it's like, you got to be committed. You're like, again, that's one thing I would say. It's not fair. I don't even make it grievances for me, but I'm kind of sharing a little bit what's hard for me in my life, in my career, is I get it, because again, and I get it, I totally get it. Like, I know dieters, you all just think like you're one little hack, one little trick, one little berry from the Amazon away from mastering your weight, and you're not. You're as far away from mastering your weight as you are a freshman on their first day. No, you're further away. You're a student who's thinking about going to college to get a degree, and you haven't chosen a school or committed to it. That's how far away you are, metaphorically. And so, but then you ask me, so you say, okay, so I want to be a lawyer. And it's okay. What's your plan? I don't know. Can you just tell me how do I become a lawyer? Well, I mean, you have to commit. There's a lot of steps. No, I just come on. Can't you just tell me? Can't you just tell me how to be a lawyer? Yeah, you gotta go to school. I don't. You gotta study. No, that's all vague. Come on, I need to know the secrets. Go talk to a lawyer. What's the lawyer gonna tell you? The steps you got to take. You know. So it's like, again, I know you dieters all want the hack, but there is no hack. There's committing yourself to a plan that actually works. And I will tell you, I believe that, because it's like I've been doing this now for 20 years, and especially the last few years, especially because I've been doing more group coaching. And it's like I watch person after person who commits to the program get amazing results. So it's not an ability thing. It's a commitment thing more than anything else. The information's right there. And if you actually engage with it and stick with it, I keep seeing person after person after person getting ridiculous results. Like, not just losing weight. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because Program Yourself Thin is not just about losing weight. It's about taking your weight loss, wrapping it into personal development, and becoming the best person, the best version of you can be. And one piece of that best version of you is your weight, but it's just one little fucking piece. It's not all about the weight. It's about being the best version of you possible, having the best relationships, the most success financially that you want to have, the best quality of life that you want to have. Whatever is important to you in your life, you maximizing that. So I don't want you to think I'm not being obtuse. I'm not trying to be sneaky or elusive about giving you guys answers. But sometimes you ask such big questions that there's no simple answer to it. And there shouldn't be. And in another context, you would recognize that's why I talk about, like, well, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a plumber. Tell me how to be a plumber. Well, what am I going to do? Just sit here and start. Let me get the book. Hold on. You know what I mean? Like, again, but when it comes to dieting, you think you're one hack away. You think you're one little trick away. And that's because you've been conditioned to think like a dieter. But again, in any other context, that would seem silly. How to become a plumber? Okay, you need to learn how to use a wrench. Once you know how to use a wrench, you're all set. You're all set. You know what I mean? Like, that's the equivalence. Doesn't it seem silly in that context? And I don't think you're silly, folks. I just think I use this language to try and snap you out of trance. Again, I say this all the time, but as a hypnotist, I thought I was gonna make my living hypnotizing people. And what I have found out without question is that I way more am de-hypnotizing people. I'm waking people up out of their trances. You're all walking zombies. You're in a diet trance and a food trance. And it's my job to snap you out of it. That's what I swear most of my job is. Once you're snapped out of it, putting you into a different trance is easy work. It's breaking you free of the diet trance and the food trances you're in. It's the hard work. It's like, it's Mark Twain quote that it's not the things I don't know that get me in trouble. It's the things I know for sure that just ain't so. And how you think about weight loss as a dieter is the things that just ain't so. And yeah. Like he says, living at goal weight presents its own challenges, but so worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is what it is. Says, I hate when I eat healthy at work. They always ask, are you on a diet? No, just eat right. No, for sure. I know. People are Badinskis. Marty says, so what's the solution? Include your favorite food? Yeah, you should absolutely include your favorite foods. I think your favorite food should be the bullseye, the cornerstone, the foundation of your whole eating plan. Again, that's why we have clean and pleasure days. I think psychologically, it is just a completely different reality for you to build around your favorite food than it is to do your dieting move where you look to exclude your favorite food. Folks, all weight loss is reducing your average calorie consumption. You can do that in a lot of ways. And if you go into that process of reducing your average calorie consumption by asking the question, how can I comfortably reduce my calorie consumption? You never ask that question because all you care about is fast weight loss. So you have to do the most dramatic, extreme, overwhelming thing. But if you start asking better questions, like how can I comfortably, easily, automatically start to reduce my average calorie consumption, you come up with completely different answers. And now you have a chance of actually doing it and then doing it long-term. Stuff says we're supposed to start fasting from Saturday and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. Oh, right. Yeah. Ramadan's coming up. Well, this isn't your first rodeo though, right? I mean, you fasted before, I imagine. Yeah, fasting's tough. That long-term fasting is a challenge, but I've worked with people on Ramadan and I love it because I think you can get so much out of it. Um, in addition to what you're doing for spiritual reasons, I think you can get so much weight, health, wisdom out of it too, if you use it appropriately. But best of luck with it. Oh, what's up, Katie? Yep, you're the one who inspired me to get that book. Yeah, I'm so glad you're reading Living Untethered. So good, and Step Up from Untethered Soul. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it's really good. I have found I'm basically just like handwriting the whole book. My notes are just like I just keep writing. I'm basically just copying the whole book. It is that good, which is interesting. And I got your email, Katie. You never email me too much. I always love success stories, so always feel free that. I don't always respond, but yeah, I love to see that, and I was happy to see that, and I can't wait to jump into that whole thing with you. Layla says, just binged after 3 days of clean eating. Don't know what to do anymore. Again, I mean, this is the story. It's like 3 days of over restricting and 1 day of binging that turns into months of overeating. It's the classic story, and you all have your focus on the wrong thing. You're focused on the binge piece, and I'm focused on what led to the binge piece. So again, it's the classic diet move where you do too much too quick, and then there's a over response in the other direction. So I feel bad for you, Layla. I get it. I know you're trying with the best information you have, but the best information you have sucks. I promise you that. It's the same for all of you. I do not have to even know you to know that how you think about losing weight is ass backwards, completely backwards. Like literally corny as it is, running east, looking for a sunset backwards. If you're trying to lose weight and you're a dieter, I can't express enough just how fucked you are. So what's the answer? Stop dieting. Again, listen to the hypnosis, but watch the video I made. And I'm excited because I'm actually working on a new video. And because what am I doing? I know that's another challenge, but I'm part of this one too, though. So that's one I get is that people's attention span is getting smaller and smaller. So I'm tweaking the video, but it's kind of cool because it's going to be action packed, just like pap, 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 pap. Because I know it's what people need now. Fine. But yeah, if you think you're going to lose weight, if you've been dieting for more than a year or two and you have, so most of you have been dieting for decades. I get that. I know. But I'm saying if you literally just got overweight or you just started dieting like a year or two ago, then maybe a diet might work for you. But all the rest of you, that dieting is never going to work for you. And as quick as you can, you got to stop thinking like a dieter so you can get on the right path and actually get the results you deserve. If that makes sense. Leanne says, where can I find your podcast, please? On any of the podcast platforms. Program Yourself Then is the name of it. Go check out YouTube now. I'm starting to put long form videos up there. That's going to be a big focus of mine moving forward. And I'm on here live every day, Monday through Fridays. So if you ever want to ask any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, which it looks like Instagram fixed now. I was cutting off, but I feel like it's working now longer. So Facebook on there. You can ask whatever questions you want. Podcast is Program Yourself Then on all the podcast platforms. And yeah. Jade says, I always think I just need to try harder. Yeah, no, I know that. That's the dieting bullshit that you've been conditioned. You can't try hard. Again, it's running east looking for a sunset. You got to run faster. You don't. You're running the wrong way. So the harder you try, the faster you fail. Yeah, is how it goes with dieting. So it's not about trying harder. It's about learning a better strategies. You need a better strategies and you need a better mindset. It's always those two things. And you're not getting either of them from dieting. Again, dieters always say that. That's the number one dieter mantra I hear. Jim, I know what I need to do. I just got to get myself to do it. And I get so mad when I hear that because it's completely wrong. Completely wrong. You don't know what to do. You have some vague idea of how to eat, and you have no idea how to get yourself to do it consistently. So that's not knowing what to do. And it's a bullshit lie to tell yourself that. And it's ineffective, and it just destroys your confidence on top of it. So yeah, it's not true. Yasu, what's up? I get a lot of Greek people here today. All right. So yeah, so if you're not in my world, make sure you click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you. It will help you. All right. Go check it out. If you like this, again, I do this every day, Monday through Friday around noon Eastern, typically. So you can get on here, ask your questions. I'm happy to help anyone move forward with this. This is a mission for me. So I'm happy to help you out. If you miss it and you like listening to this, go check out the podcast. The podcast is Program Yourself Thin. Check out my YouTube is Jim Katsoulis. And you can see I'm starting to put more long-term videos. I just put one up, why diet, 3 reasons diets don't work, and how hypnosis fixes that. If you watch it and like it, leave a comment, leave a like, go subscribe, all that's good stuff about YouTube. And yeah, if you're real serious, go get the program. Let's get started, right? Because here we are. I know we're right about, this is the real New Year. This is the real, people always think January 1st is the big, we're right about March 1st is a much bigger time when people start to get real focused. Okay. So if you are going to get serious about your weight, why don't you commit to Program Yourself Thin? Makes a lot more sense. All right, everyone. Have a super duper day and we'll talk soon. Bye.